So we here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football are, of course, high school mascot aficionados.
Yeah.
We love them. I like to tell people that I rank about second in the state in knowledge of high school football mascots. I will never beat Craig Way, so he's number one forever.
You also not very good in mascot selfie competitions against Kate Hector.
I am not. No, I'm not. But I think I'm pretty good at naming them. That if you say, you know, hey, what's the mascot?
You are very good.
What's
it's
the
your
mascot
party
at
trick.
Pampa? What's the mascot at Pampa? Well, it's the Harvesters.
Yeah.
Like, that's my one parlor trick.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But as aficionados of mascots, we have a duty to protect the sanctity of the mascot world in Texas high school football. And this is a charge that we take very seriously.
Stupidly, but very seriously.
Correct. Yeah. We have been on the record. We have been on the record as saying that there are some mascots, some schools that have missed some opportunities.
Many times on this show, we've mentioned schools like Kermit.
Kermit is the one that springs to mind. Kermit,
Obviously.
of course.
Yeah.
You know, Kermit is a fine school, but the problem is that there is an obvious mascot there. Okay, there's an obvious mascot there, and it's
not
not
the
what
Yellow Jackets.
It's not what they went with. They didn't go with the Frogs.
It should
They
have been
went
Frogs.
with the Yellow Jackets. And
Now, we've
that's
had
fine.
this conversation before, and a loyal listener, viewer, Garrett Ross, pings our Facebook page.
Shout out
He
to you,
says,
Garrett. Here's the message he sent.
Remember you guys had a show a while back where you were discussing mascots from across the state. I put together a list of a few mascot changes that I thought would be cool. Let me know what you think. Garrett, we think it's pretty awesome. And
We
we're
think it's
gonna
great.
talk all about it.
So he starts with Belton.
Yes.
I had no problem with Belton being the Tigers. That's a traditional mascot.
Sure.
He says the Belton Barons. I can go on board with
It's
that.
not bad. The one thing that Garrett did two things here. One, he went with if your name gave you something,
Yes.
go with it.
Which is a big thing that we believe.
Like with the Kermit Frogs.
Yes.
But he also went with there really should be more alliteration in the state, which I also agree with. Hence the Belton Barons.
Correct. The Belton Barons, I can get on board with that. So there's all that. The next one he comes up with, Oglesby,
Yes.
the Ocelots. Not bad.
Look, the world needs more ocelots.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I've never met an ocelot before.
Right.
So there's that.
Kermit Frogs.
Kermit Frogs, of course. The Chester Cheetahs.
I mean, come on. That's great.
pretty great.
That's great.
Pretty great. Let's see. What else? He goes the Spurs.
Which I think
when life gives
awesome.
you lemons.
Come on.
When life gives you lemons, then you need to make lemonade. The Spurs would be pretty great. I'm trying to find an article from a couple weeks ago or from a couple years ago. That's why I'm looking at that. Let's see. The next one.
Allen Aviators.
Allen Aviators.
The alliteration. I
He,
like
he
it.
goes with the alliteration.
Look, the world doesn't need more eagles.
It doesn't. We
It
have too
doesn't.
many eagles.
So I'm fine with this.
The most I do have this handy. The mascot, the top. If you are wondering what the most common mascots are, they're exactly what you think they are.
Yeah.
The number one mascot in the state, and this is all classifications, including private schools. The mascots, there are 121 eagles.
Yep.
There are 90 bulldogs, and there are 71 tigers. Next is Panthers, and then Lions rounds out the top 5. So we need fewer
Yes.
eagles. I can go on board
Yep.
with that. Next one, the Pilot Point Pilots.
Yep.
Again,
Great.
go with it.
Yes.
The Penelope Prospectors. Now, I have a problem here. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
take
all right,
issue
all
with
right.
this.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because Penelope
Uh-huh.
is the Wolverines.
Right. That's
Okay.
pretty good.
That is, A, pretty unique, and
Yeah.
B, I love the dichotomy between a sweet town named Penelope.
Wolverines.
Like, that's perfect. That's perfect. Like, so I'm going to fight him
Yes.
on that one. I think Penelope does it
That's
right.
okay. That's
Union
okay.
Grove Undertakers. Interesting. Get a little
Interesting.
dark here.
Yes.
The Crosby Crop Dusters. Which I know that
Could
you're
you
thinking.
imagine though those like biplanes?
Yeah, that's not what I think
awesome.
of. That's not what I think of when I think of crop dusters.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about walking through a room and breaking wind while you're doing
Sure. Okay.
it. The Midway Midshipman.
Uh-huh.
The only problem with that is that like
no boats
there's
anywhere
no
near there.
ocean. Like what are these ships go down the Brazos? Like
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
The Corrigan Camden Cavemen.
That's-
That is one I do agree.
3 C's
yes.
is amazing.
Because Corrigan Camden is is a squad that I feel like you are already given the gift of alliteration.
Right.
Right.
Why not go for the trio?
Right. So why would you go with Bulldogs? Right. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes.
Okay. He went with that. Let's see. Aspermont Asps. Okay. Interesting.
Okay. All right.
Cotton Center Cottonmouths.
I like that.
I think that's great.
I like that a lot.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
The Blooming Grove Beavers.
Sure.
There aren't enough
Beavers.
beaver mascots.
Right.
There really aren't.
Yeah. They're entertaining.
And I made this point. There's another mascot that is, I think, woefully underrepresented in the state. Woefully.
Okay.
The Foxes. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
There are only
Not
two.
enough Foxes.
The Caddo Mills Foxes
Yeah.
and the El Paso Jefferson, who I believe they go by the Silver Foxes or something like that.
Yeah.
They give it a qualifier. There's also not enough kangaroos.
That's true.
There's only 3 kangaroos. Cress, Killeen,
Yeah.
and Weatherford are the
Yeah.
only kangaroos.
Yeah.
So there's that. Sorry, I've got hot
we need
takes.
more wallabies.
The Abilene Apaches. Okay. The Big Spring Buffaloes. Sorry to the coach from Houston area. He's calling me right now. The Big Spring Buffaloes.
Yes.
All right. The Emory Rains Orangutans.
That's great. That's great.
Emory Rains Orangutans. I have to kind of wrap my head around that.
I love it.
Especially because they go by Rains. They don't go by Emory Rains. In the same way that, like, South Lake Carroll doesn't go by South Lake Carroll.
But even then,
it's
Rains Orangutans.
Yeah, that's pretty great. The Quitman Quail.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Quitman, again, is the Bulldogs, and so Quitman Quail works for me.
Yeah.
And finally, the Riesel Raccoons.
I could do more raccoons.
I could. Frisco is, of course, the Raccoons.
Yeah.
But the Riesel Raccoons.
Get the raccoon eyes on the helmet up here.
I'm looking for this article.
One that he missed, and we've talked about this in the past, Argyle. How are you not the Sox?
How are you not the Sox?
SOX.
Yes.
Argyle Sox.
Or
Come on.
or just the plaid. The Argyle plaid. So I do want to bring this up because there is a school that I always like whenever we're having high school talk. I always like to give a little praise to Edinburgh Vela. Okay, so Edinburgh Vela opened a couple of years ago, and I'm looking for the clip or I'm looking for the article. Unfortunately, I can't find it right now. I probably should have looked this up before. In any case, they came up with they put the story goes that they put the mascot up for a vote.
Yes.
And they didn't leave it open to everything. They narrowed it down to 3. And if I remember correctly, man, I really wish I could find this article. If I remember correctly, they basically had 3 options. One was a very boring mascot.
Mm-hmm.
It was something like Eagles.
Right.
Okay. The second one, and again, I wish I could find the story, but I can't. The second one, if I remember correctly, was better, but not amazing. Something like Stallions.
Right.
You know, where it would be like, oh, it's interesting. It's not totally unique, but it's fun. And the third one, which is what they voted for, was the Sabercats.
Sabercats.
And that is awesome. If you ever have the opportunity to go weird on your mascot, go weird. You will never regret it.
Right.
Okay? Trent, do you think Trent has ever regretted being called the Gorillas?
Come on.
Not once. Not once. So, for me, that's it. Hold on. I do have a list of this. So, if you want to know other mascots that there are only one of.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, there's only one Aggies. Does that surprise you?
Stunning.
There's, of course, only one Blizzards.
Yes, Winters.
There is...
but, again, we should stop there. Winters did what they needed to do. Mm-hmm. They were handed a gift. We're called Winters. We have to be the Blizzards.
Just like Frost is the Polar Bears.
Right.
Which is great. There's only one Goats, which kind of bothers me, but Grosbeck is the lone Goats. There's only one Gobblers, which is great. Again, something that kind of amazes me, there's only one Javelinas.
That is also surprising.
That's a little surprising.
Texas.
There's only one Pied Pipers, of course, Plowboys, Porcupine. Believe it or not, there's only one Porcupine. Springtown's the only Porcupines. There's only one Skeeters. Which, by the way, Jeff Fleener, we're waiting for these.
We're still waiting for our shirts. We'll absolutely wear them.
I'm a man of my word.
Yeah. We'll absolutely wear them.
There is. So this is interesting. There is I believe a private school that's the Swift Foxes.
Okay.
But there's only one. There's only 2 Foxes, which is I think woefully underrepresented. And finally, there is only one, and we mentioned them earlier. There's only one Zebras.
Yeah, Granby.
And that just doesn't jive with me.
I love that they're tunnel is a crazed zebra with glowing red death eyes.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I also like that there's only one white faces. Of course.
Yes.
The herd
Right.
out there in Hereford. There you go. There's a little mascot talk for your friend.
So, Garrett.
Thank
you're
you.
awesome.
Appreciate you
Thank
giving
you
us
so
a
much.
segment.
That was a lot of fun.